going, YouTube? Today we actually made some meaningful upgrades to the character. I'm actually pretty excited to share some of it with everyone because it did help out. As you can see, my ES now is 4.5k, 4,518, 157 unreserved life. So character is pretty tanky. I'm up to 15% XP. Now, I did die a little bit and I actually made a horrific mistake. And it's probably one of the worst mistakes I made. I played an entire day without having 300% aura effectiveness because some viewer told me that I was at 302%, so I dropped the Purposeful Harbinger for replenishing presence. And I saw I was at 90% physical damage, 90% all res, but I had Arrogance linked into Purities. And when you have Arrogance linked into your auras, that means that you are at 90% and you get an extra 20% aura effectiveness. Now, what that means is that my physical damage reduction was actually at 32%, so I actually died quite a bit in Tropical Islands without 300%. So for everyone out there, you can do the Delirium content without 300%. It's not advisable. You will die more. But as soon as I actually got it fixed, I stopped dying, and it's been a breeze in Tropical Islands. It turns out that physical damage reduction is very, very important. And one lesson to learn: never trust what your viewers say. Always double check yourself. Second lesson, always learn how to use POB and make sure that Arrogance is not boosting your aura effectiveness. And that you should check your physical damage reduction. It should be around like 45% or something is terribly wrong. So that's just a valuable lesson I learned. So for today's video, I'm going to go over my gear overview. I did craft this new helm. And then I'm going to go into pretty much exploring the most meta builds in Expedition League. Just trying to get a good grip on how good the build diversity is now that GGG nerfed everything. Because with everything nerfed, everything should be viable, everything should be good. So I just wanted to take a good look at the PoE Ninja to see what are the top builds of PoE in Expedition League. But let's get again with the gear overview. So for the gear overview, some exciting things have happened. It's still the same Nebulous. I did divine this last night. I read some comments in the video. People were disappointed that the Nebulous was not perfectly rolled. Well, here it is, perfectly divine 2018-20. So the helm, this is the helm that everyone's been waiting for. I will probably release how to craft this thing tomorrow in tomorrow's video as a segment. But just very fast, you pretty much take Awaken Orb to get a Reservation of Skills elevated, along with Crit Multi non-elevated. Now you could elevate Crit Multi, but it's generally not that worth it because it's pretty expensive for like 3 to 4% multi. And then once you Awaken Orb those two things together, you have to make sure that the original base that you wanted to do it on, the Hubris, has the enchant of Discipline. The reason you choose Discipline is Discipline actually has the highest mana reservation after taking into account that it is linked to Empower. So that's why we choose Discipline as the aura. So even though I lost 1% reservation of skills, I actually ended up with having enough mana still to cast my skill. So after you Awaken Orbit together, you will need to craft on Suffixes Cannot Be Changed and then use a Veiled Chaos Orb. Now there's another way of doing it, which is doing it with Ashling and then using a Suffixes Cannot Be Changed and then doing Reforged like Crit or something, or Reforged like Cold to get a certain mod. And then you would do Suffixes Cannot Be Changed again and then you would use Ashling to gamble it. However, that method is much more expensive and it is better per se, but this method allows you to actually pretty much do it without interacting with anyone, and it's actually really, really fast. Now I wanted to showcase this is a stream viewer's helmet. So this is what you would have if you actually did not get, so if you actually got a free suffix. Now chances of getting a free suffix are generally, I think it's like a 1 in 4 chance. So this person got a free suffix, right? So what you can do when you get a free suffix is you can craft on multi-mod and then be able to put in +1 pierce and then craft on percent ES. So this is pretty much the exact same helm as mine, except you had a free suffix. Now my suffix, however, is cold res, so that's pretty bad. But basically, pretty happy with the craft. It was pretty easy to craft, and I did get a prefix that's kind of useful, but not really. But 167 ES goes a long way, and that's why I'm at 4.5k ES. Now, the amulet is the same. I did fill out the crit catalyst. It took forever to buy 20 catalysts. It's crazy. I think I did 10 trades to get 15 catalysts. I don't even know what to say about the trade system besides the fact that it is Terra bad. Now, this Call of the Brotherhood, I should probably replace with Discipline Aura effect, and I'll go over why. Hands of the High Templar is still the same. A lot of people still ask me the question, which curse? It's the curse at the beginning of the alphabet. Although someone actually brought up a point that it could be the curse with the highest effect that gets applied. So in this case, LE weakness is the highest, but couldn't you just Blessed Orb it? So I guess there's no way that's right? So you just Blessed Orb it and get the curse with the highest effect. So it has to be in alphabetical order. So next is still the Nebulous, or not the Nebulous, the Call of the Brotherhood's the same. Now this item here, Call of the Brotherhood, is an item that is so price fixed, or not price fixed, but is so rare. I don't even know who's buying it, but this one's up for 60x. It's actually kind of, yeah, it cannot be ignited, so that's pretty good. But these rings are extremely expensive. I don't really know what the fair price is, but it's actually crazy how much it could possibly cost. So next we have the Shavs. Now Shavs, I really want to get a +2. A +2, +4 Shavs is probably the best money upgrade you can get. If you get a +4 Shavs, your damage will go up an insane amount in terms of money investment. If you can get it for like 80 to 100x, it's probably the best 80 to 100x you could spend on your character. You can buy yourself like a couple double crit multi-jewels for that amount, and you will still not have anywhere close to the damage that a +4 Shavs would give you. So in terms of upgrades, this is a pretty good upgrade, but it's actually very, very far in the future. Not that far, but a couple days in the future. Because in the end, we're kind of running out of upgrades now, but there's still a lot, and the remaining ones are really, really expensive. So next we have Voidwalkers. Now Voidwalkers, I'm actually going to be sad once I replace them. Now this does give it you phasing, so if I don't have phasing, I need to get on a jewel somewhere. And if I get it on a jewel somewhere, that means I need to lose some projectile speed or multi, unless there's an ES multi jewel out there with phasing. But I don't really expect to, because there's just no items in the league currently. So what I'm going to be looking to replace this boots with is, again, with pretty much this pair. Like, you want Aspect of the Avian is pretty good, but you could also get like Chaos Res. So this is pretty much just elevated Tailwind, elevated Onslaught, and then you can get Elusive maybe if you get lucky with the Ashling. But then the most important thing is getting movement speed and cannot be chilled. And getting movement speed cannot be chilled means that we can no longer be chilled, and you can also craft on cannot be frozen, which I'm pretty sure this person did. Yeah, so you can be cannot be chilled, cannot be frozen. But before we buy that pair of boots, it'll probably cost around 30 to 35 exalts. So we're slowly getting up there. Let's check out the currency tab. We do have 12 exalts, and then we have some simulacrum splinters. The problem with simulacrums is that it's actually going down in price. I don't know why that is. It's probably just because a lot more people are doing tropical islands. This is to be expected though. So the method is probably going to get less and less profitable, and yeah, I don't know if it'll recover in price during the day, but we'll see what happens, right? So maybe it's time to find a new farming method soon. But now you might be wondering, without the Alpha's Howl, how do I actually get freeze immunity? And the answer is Kiara's Determination. So I dropped the Cinder Swallow urn, and I'm using Kiara's. Kiara's only lasts for 2.4 seconds. But in our maps, we clear pretty fast, right? So with Overflowing Chalice and Kiara's, and you can also get this 28% quality, this flask will be up for the majority of the time. And it also gives you immune to chill, which is really, really annoying, and curses and stuns. So what you want to do with this flask is you want to just pretty much it'll be on the whole time. And if you get frozen, it should have some charges if it's not reached full, and you can press it and you'll be fine. I don't know how it would feel for bossing. If it's a boss of cold damage, I would probably not rely on that for frozen, and you really have to get the boots. But if you're just doing delirium mapping, when you kill a lot of mobs all the time, then this flash should generally be up 24/7. So that's my rationale. Another thing you could do is you could use this, and you can actually capture. Wait, you can capture something that reduces the effect of chill on you by 50%. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to do after I finish the video. And then there's another that could not be frozen if you've been frozen recently. So I'm definitely going to be doing those things. I am hard trolling. If you ever watch my stream, I literally complaining about chill 24/7. But that should make it a lot more bearable. And I'm also using this. Wait, I should be using this, right? Whoops. I should probably take a look at my Pantheon a lot more because this is actually completely useless. So I should definitely have this for reduced effective curses on me. But pretty much that's the general gist of it. This flask is actually extremely OP, and I highly recommend it if you actually run into problems with freeze when you drop the Alpha's Howl, because if you do juice maps, you will pretty much be up 24/7. But now let's go take a look at the most meta skills of Expedition League. So PoE Ninja really tells you a story of the whole state of the league in terms that it kind of snapshots all the most popular builds. If you see down here, here are the most popular builds. So the most popular ascendancies are Necromancer, then Gladiator, then Raider, then Hierophant. And this is not really that surprising once you look at the skills that are being played. So the number one skill taking the world by storm is Spectral Shield Throw. Now Spectral Shield Throw, there's two variants, a Gladiator variant and then a Raider variant. So let's go take a look at a Gladiator variant. This guy actually has 14 million tooltip with Spectral Shield Throw. So why is Spectral Shield Throw so good this league? So this Phantasmal Spectral Shield Throw thing is kind of overpowered. It grants you 20% multi per 100 max ES on shield. And then it also has fire. So basically you get a bunch of multi for free with your shield. So this person's shield has 300% ES, 300 ES. And you also synthesize it for recover 5% of life when you block. So this guy is pretty tanky because he probably has maximum block. He's blocking and then he's recovering life. So he's pretty much unkillable, I'm assuming. But basically, this jewel right here is what they added in Expedition League that made it pretty much, made this build over the top, because this jewel never existed before. People had to use a Spectral Shield Throw threshold jewel in order to get the Spectral Shield Throw to do. I don't really know what the threshold jewel used to do, but this jewel is completely new. So what this jewel does is that it makes it so that you can actually have crit chance on Spectral Shield Throw. So you have 0.2% to offhand crit chance per 110, maximum energy shield. So it comes out to around, I think, 6%. So it has 300 energy shield of 30 times 0.2. Wait, is that true? Yeah, no, it has 3%. This is 300 maximum energy shield, right? Yeah, so 30 times 0.2 is, yeah. So basically, this is very, very good because it gives you a lot of multi too. So you can imagine that this is 120 multi. So if you take a look at this profile, you can see that this profile actually is insane in the amount of damage it does. So it has 487% multi. So if you actually just take out this jewel right here that they use, without this jewel, the build is absolutely nothing. You can see the amount of multi it gives, 487%, and it also gives you all the crit chance. You're at 46.4% crit without it. So this jewel is what got introduced in Expedition League and why it's so good. Now there's another version with Raider, which is cold conversion, and this version is also, I don't know, it's extremely strong. It's a cold conversion one with Raider, and it gets, I'm assuming it gets ailment immunity, and it uses the same thing. So this league, it seems like GGG wanted to be a Spectral Shield Throw meta. Now, the next skill we have, let's see what's next, is Ray Spectre. Now, Ray Spectre is always a skill that people love. There's a lot of people play minion builds all the time, and this includes Soul Rest builds. This includes minion builds with Syndicate Operatives. So this person is a Soul Rest build, and let's see what's over here. This person is playing Spectre. Not sure which one, but it's GMP Vicious Projectile, so it's probably Syndicate Operatives. So you can see that minions are always a build that people love to play. Yeah, it's survived many, many nerfs. There's many, many different variants. This person's using a bow. The other person was using, some people use a wand. And yeah, it does seem like the most popular version or variant is this Syndicate Operative with the bow, because most people use a wand. So this person doesn't use a bow. This person uses a wand. It is a convoking wand, and I'm pretty sure the ones that don't use it use Syndicate Operatives in Bone Helmet. And this is probably more damage, but it's harder to craft or something. So basically, you have the Ray Spectre people, and the Ray Spectre is also Signal Prey, because Signal Prey is the exact same build, I think, right? Signal Prey is Summon Carrion Golem, or I don't really know. So this is also Ray Spectre. So I'm not sure exactly the big difference between these two builds. I'm pretty sure they're just the same, but the PoE Ninja just counts it as a different type of support gem. This is pretty much the same, right? Another Signal Prey Ray Spectre. So basically, we have 16% playing Spectral Shield Throw, then 18% playing Spectres, and then now we move on to Forbidden Right. Now this is a pretty like newish build. People already theory crafted that this build would be really broken, especially with totems, because totems would take the damage. So the way Forbidden Right works is that it deals 5% of your base maximum energy shield as base chaos damage, and it deals 12% of your maximum life as base chaos damage. And it takes 40% of maximum life and 25% maximum energy shield as chaos damage. However, if you put this on a totem, it negates the downside, and it also ends up scaling of totem life. So you can see how all these jewels have totem life, and then there's also, I don't know if they go for multi, right? They do go for multi, I think, yeah. So this build actually does a bunch of damage, and it's actually extremely budget. This version is pretty expensive if they use the Verdi's Veil and the Coward's Legacy, and both these items are extremely expensive right now. And these totem medium clusters are also extremely expensive, and then this large cluster is also extremely expensive. I noticed because every time I farm deleter maps, these clusters are the ones that sell for the most, and every time I put it in my stash tab, it gets absolutely spammed immediately. So this build is the other meta build that I believe exists. And now we go to our last meta build, which is Toxic Rain and Caustic Arrow, which have pretty much are the same build, right? The Toxic Rain is the tried and true. I think they use the bow. They craft this bow, and then they have Toxic Rain here, and then I think over here it is Caustic Arrow. So they have Caustic Arrow for the clear and Toxic Rain for the single target, I'm assuming. And this build is like relatively cheap. It is a pretty good starter build, and it's pretty much what most Rangers end up playing. But now that Raider Spectral Shield Throw exists, but you can't really league start that, and a lot of people league started Toxic Rain. So what do we learn from all of this looking at the meta, right? Looking at the meta in Softcore Expedition, the top 4 builds are Spectral Shield Throw, Ray Spectre, Forbidden Right Totems, and Toxic Rain. And these builds account for like almost every single build in the league. So 16%, 18%, 8%, and 10%. So what does this mean for build diversity? It means that build diversity does not exist in this meta. There's so many people that tell me like, oh, I'm playing like ED Contagion, or I'm playing some other skill, and it just doesn't work after I get the T15 or 16 maps. You can see this in the Reddit complaints. You can see this in like if you talk to other people who play the game and they're not playing a meta build. And that's just what happens when you nerf the game too much. When you nerf the game too much, it makes it so that people have to play the best build, or they just won't be able to clear the content. And yeah, you can say that once you get better gear, you can like clear the content, but how are people supposed to get the better gear without being able to actually do red maps in a decent amount of speed? And that's why a lot of people ended up quitting the league, honestly, is because not only was the mechanic unrewarding, the lack of like power for their own personal build after it got nerfed felt really, really bad. A lot of people probably wanted to play something else different, and they tried playing it, and it wasn't an enjoyable experience. Like, you can look here on day 1 or day 2, most of the people in the league were playing Saboteur Ice Trap. And you know what happened afterwards? No one's playing Saboteur Ice Trap, because Saboteur Ice Trap is a horrible build to play. It's very clunky for a lot of people, and most people don't actually like it, and people were forced to play it because they believed that it was the most strong build at the start. And a lot of those people who quit playing the Ice Trap probably stopped playing the league and game altogether. So all the nerfs and stuff that GGG did really just narrow build diversity to the point where people are pretty much forced to play these builds, right? No one really probably enjoys playing totem builds, but they pretty much are forced to because it's so strong and so powerful. And that's just a completely another topic of why Forbidden Right is so strong and how it even got past like the testing stage, because the numbers for the skill are just absurd. But anyhow, I hope that I answered any questions about a deep dive into the meta and how good the build diversity is. TLDR, if you want to succeed, play Spectral Shield Throw, Ray Spectre, or minions, Forbidden Right Totems, or Toxic Rain. And that's pretty much the meta. Obviously, other skills will work with enough currency investment, but for your bang for your buck, those are the 4 skills to play, and I highly recommend it if you want to start the league to play one of those skills, probably Forbidden Rite Totem or Toxic Rain, because as you can see, those are the skills that actually people are still playing the league with and have overwhelming representation. Showcased a quick Uber Atziri kill before I wanted to end the video, because a lot of people ask me, how do you do Uber Atziri? And the answer is you respec out of this here, Necromancer. So it costs you 10 regrets to do it. You respec, and then you take Elementalist, and Elementalist makes it so that you cannot take reflected elemental damage. Now, when you lose Necromancer, it makes you attacking cast speed very slow. So you can see in the video that my Leap Slam was really, really bad. And someone actually brought up a good point about Leap Slam speed, why the boots are so important, because once you get Tailwind effect, it should make Leap Slam feel a lot better, because action speed literally just makes the game feel better. But anyhow, that's going to be it for me. I hope everyone enjoyed looking at what the most popular skills in the league were. Even if you aren't playing the league anymore, it could be a good time to start up. You could just be playing Forbidden Rite Totems, you can be playing Spectral Shield Throw and have a great time. And one last check. What's the hardcore meta like, right? Because that's, maybe there's more diversity there. And the answer is no. Absolutely not. 32% Gladiator, it's even worse. But thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you find more mirrors and exalts than I do. Be sure to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.